This can be seen as a bonus or add-on video, just to expand what we've learned from the previous video. The other video was getting a little too long. I like to generally talk in 10 to 20 minute chunks. But let's just say we're going to add more detail to this house here. Well, in the previous tutorial, or demonstration, I showed that we can add edge loops via Control R. Click on this, and we can just kind of select where we want this edge loop to be. We can also use the we can use the mouse wheel up or down to dictate how many slices we want. So let's say we want it right here, and then we want to slide this way or that way. We can click on this, Alt click, selects a whole edge loop, spacebar, edge slide. Now we can move it this way. Now why did I choose edge slide as opposed to just moving it this way? Well, you can see it's kind of stretching the textures. With edge slide, we're just kind of sliding it. You can see the top left, the amount that we're moving at. So it looks like we're moving it, let's just say, this looks about right, 0.58. Well, let's round up to 0.6. Type in 0.6. Select this, and now we move it. On the y-axis, it's negative. Oops, sorry, edge slide. Move it, y-axis. And let's move it 0.6. This should be completely even. Now if we select these two faces, like the other two faces on the side, we can assign a different material. We can change it to be a different one over here. As you can see now, it's starting to be a little more detailed. But let's say, what happens if we wanted this to be a different material? Sorry, what I mean is like a different texture color. We wanted to hue shift this. But what we need to do is we'll have to create a new material up with the same material of house. So it's referencing the same thing. Click this for new material, or call this wood. Now we can navigate towards saturation value, or we can even take the hue out. Once you have this assigned, see now it's purple. But when we start hue shifting this, it's a completely different color. That in mind, we can go kind of crazy and have fun. I selected all the faces around. I'll hit I for inset. You can see it's just going to create that kind of form around. We can select the whole. Well, we can keep the center here. So what's happening right now is, in my mind, I'm thinking, do I want the center to be wood or the outside to be wood? For this demonstration purpose, I'll do it the outside. So Alt, Shift, click. Oh, A to deselect everything first. Alt, Shift, click. Alt, Shift, click. Do that for each side to expand the wooden section. Go down to wood, assign. And we also have to move it to the wood section. Pretty cool. Let's say if we wanted something completely different up here too. Select this, hit I for inset. We can also, if we hit double click I, you can see it's insetting individual faces. Again, this just depends on what you want. Do that. Here. Pretty cool. Let's duplicate this. And let's select this face. Select the bottom here. Actually, let's just select the wall here. We won't select the sides. Extrude this outwards. Select this area here. Now you can see this is stretching out. So we're just going to go to the front view, Control 1, or back view actually. UV, project from view, and we're just going to move this back to the wall section here. Now, if you notice, it's a different color. That's because it's in the wood material. So we select house, hit assign, and it should be back. This top two is being stretched out, as you can see here. We have to navigate to the top view, which is Numpad 7, UV, project from view. Now at this point, it might be very tiresome always clicking UV, project from view. We can assign a shortcut or add it to our quick favorites. We just have to right click, and for this demonstration purpose, I'll hit add to quick favorites. Now you can access that by just hitting Q, project from view. Drag this way, try and make it fit. We can rotate this around with R, scale it with S, and G to move it around. It's looking kind of neat. I'm going to add an edge loop in the middle here and drag this up. I'm also going to add a cut from here to the other side. Spacebar. Click on this. We hit I to inset. Drag it down and make E to extrude out. Bring it a bit more forward. That's probably too forward here. Select the top. So I'm just gonna start rushing a little bit here. UV. Oh, see, I've burnt it in my brain now, just going this way. But we've added it to Q, project from view. Put this way. Would assign. Maybe this would be kind of neat to have a bit of a wood here. Oh, 7, upside down, Q, project from view. Bring this up this way. Rotate around. You see it's a little bit wonky here as well, so we can do that. Q, project from view. That's looking pretty neat. You can also like click on these windows and bring them, duplicate them over here. Duplicate this window over here. Bring this slightly back. Rotate it this way. These. To be a little bit of a. You can see something's happening here. That's because if you noticed, our bounds are all around, and if we have two faces intersecting, this is called Z-clipping. I'm just gonna like squish this slightly to remove that problem. Alright. What else can we add here? Well, if we look at this, it's casting an emission. What happens if we actually wanted lighting information as a reference? Well, that's quite possible. What we need to do though is kind of rework our structure here. You can also separate it in two parts like the previous video, which is completely fine. But what happens if we just want a straight render to paint without just a shadow pass? We can select the material here, click on house, adding to this, add our principal BSDF. Excuse me, got a bit of hiccups. And now we're going to start adding lighting information this way. Same thing with the wood here, principal BSDF. Click this way. Same with the windows. Ah, but the windows are adding into the emission. We just need to remove the emission. Same thing with a cat here. Remove the emission. Now it looks like, oh, we also have our windows here. Remove the emission. The world is kind of emitting a bit of light. That's why we can see these. We can still see the texture. What I like to do is go towards the world and change the color to black. But just for demonstration purposes, if we bring this up, we can start changing the world color this way. Color. Get very aesthetic this way. I personally like adding a bit of black, because I like setting up as if it's like little stage plays. I'm gonna add a bit of a floor here. Now it's hard to see what's going on, so you might want to bounce back to this view. See where everything's like. Shift A, light, sun. Bring the sun up, back to this view. And now if we rotate this around, we can start seeing how it's emitting some nice looking shadows. But it looks like if we go this way, it's kind of getting a little shiny. We can kind of fix that a bit. Also notice that the shadow Our cats are square. Well, we can fix that. We're going here, shadow mode, alpha clip. Now it's going to cast the proper shadow. Select on one of our houses here. There's a number of things we can play around with, again, depending on the effect you want. If you don't want any specularity, bring that down to 0, and bring the roughness up. If we have it all the way down, to show you what happens is, I am doing it on the wood, my bad. Make sure you select the house. So, specularity, you can see it's like super shiny. Roughness, bring it down. That's where the sun is, so it's extremely reflective. Bring the roughness up. That makes a bit more sense to me. You can add in another light source. And we can tint this light source down to 0.5 or 0.2. Kind of get that ambient look to it too, with the blues. At this point, it's just all about the aesthetic tastes. Add a bit of bloom, ambient occlusion, zoom in. That look kind of cool. We can probably bump this up a little bit more. Let's say 2. Maybe a little more. 10? Ooh. Ooh. Alright, let's bring that down a little bit there. But that bloom was really nice there. Maybe we'll rotate this a bit. Trying to get something nice. I'm just tinkering around at this point. Blue lights here. We have a camera? We don't. That's not working. I'll just shift A. Camera. Now, we can find an angle we like. Created a bunch of houses as well here. Happening. Select objects. Alright, so we're just gonna move that back slightly this way. Like this house, maybe rotate it to give it some interest. The scale's kind of similar, so maybe we can scale this up slightly back. Put this back here. It's back that way. And I kind of want to have something at the end of the street here. So 70, 90, bring this back this way, forward. Scale this a bit higher this way. Down. So there you go. We've created ourselves a little fun neighborhood just using 2D assets. Bring our cat friend this way here. And do a little bit of a fun animation. Make it cyclic. There you go. You have a little fun animation. Now let's take that out. Hopefully you learned something more on this expanded video. Thank you.